Mr. Chairman and members of the Commission, good morning. And for the record, I am Edward Plaugher, Fire Chief of the Arlington County, Virginia Fire Department. Let me begin by thanking the Commission for your efforts to understand fully the events of 9/11 and for your focus on emergency response to the events that unfolded on that never-to-be-forgotten day. As the Commission heard on April the 1st, 2003 in testimony by Arlington County Fire Department Assistant Fire Chief Sean Kelly, our department, in cooperation with the Justice Department and the Office of Domestic Preparedness, now a part of the Department of Homeland Security, completed an in-depth after-action report, Arlington County After-Action Report on the response to September 11th terrorist attack on the Pentagon. In that report, we attempted to provide a blueprint for preparedness for our nation at the local, state, and federal government levels. Within the body of the report, which is divided into four major sections: fire department operations, hospitals and clinics, law enforcement, and emergency management and emergency operations center, not only was a description of the response effort documented, but also efforts were made to fully understand all elements for successful response. The report was based on interviews of first responders and generated with a bias towards their perspective, as well as the expertise of a recognized national firm that specializes on emergency preparedness and response. Staff preparing the report utilized an exhaustive multi-level validation process to produce a series of recommendations and findings. If I can relate just for a second, and I know we're out of time here, but there are some key here that we need to mention. First off, capabilities that others should emulate. ICS and Unified Command. It goes on further and talks about mutual aid and outside support. Talks about comprehensive emergency management plans, an employee assistance program and how valuable that was for us during the time. And of course, also training exercises and shared experiences. The report also focuses on challenges that must be met, such as self-dispatching, such as fixed and mobile command and control facilities. It focuses a lot on communications, which we continue to hear about. It focuses on logistics. How do we support these types of efforts, as well as hospital coordination was a major part of it. In addition to these main issues, the report contains 235 recommendations and/or findings from which we believe a blueprint for preparedness response can be developed. Let us not, as a nation, at a later date, produce another after-action report that again brings forward these same concerns. In other words, now is time for a comprehensive preparedness and to be undertaken by all levels of government. Of particular note in the after-action report was the emphasis on the need for strong professional relationships between response partners prior to an incident and the control systems that embraces the ICS or Incident Command System, as well as the concept of unified command. Without an effective, well-tested and practiced command and control system, confusion and accountability problems will surface and plague the responders. Together, ICS and Unified Command, as we have found in the National Capital Region, work best in a regional response system that leverages the investment made by local, state, and federal governments. Absent a regional mutual aid and response program, duplication of resources will occur and little progress will be made to reach maximum effectiveness. Moving away from the current baseline can only be achieved with effective partnerships and strong dependence on your partners. If you have a shovel and I have a wheelbarrow, together we can move mountains. Included in these efforts is a need to leverage private sector resources as well as public. Regional cross-discipline and cross-sector programs are essential for effective preparedness response. Each of us as leaders must commit to breaking down barriers. Task forces must be formed and systems and structures must be put into place. Clearly articulating an end state that is almost impossible to achieve must become a priority for preparedness and within the response community. In that regards, mandatory regional efforts that build relationships and shores up the capability must be undertaken by every level of government. I recommend that all future federal and state funding allocations be dedicated to regional efforts. We have spent billions of dollars on a fragmented approach that fails to leverage resources and staff in a way to achieve maximum effectiveness. Another area of concern raised by your Commission staff was in regards to the perception that currently there is a splitting of prevention efforts with Homeland Security, within the Homeland Security, with the ongoing efforts for enhanced emergency preparedness and response. In the Washington, D.C. region, known as the National Capital Region, the NCR, the Department of Homeland Security has a regional coordinator a position that was established for the express purpose of preventing bifurcation of the prevention and emergency preparedness programs and functions. Efforts, I believe, that must be undertaken to establish these regional coordinator positions in all major metropolitan areas of our nation. Allowing the division of security and preparedness programs must not be allowed to occur in any community within or metropolitan area within our nation. In conclusion, I have provided each member of the Commission a copy of the after-action report, and I look forward to responding to any questions you might have.